The bark. Married 24 years, we have been having issues for a while. Every once in a while, my wife and I would have arguments and then we'd kiss and make up. I'm not an angel. I drink 5 to 6 days a week after I get back from work. I'll have 6 to 8 beers. So, I really have left her feeling lonely. I noticed that past year she was friend with an old boyfriend on Facebook. She said they are just friends and that was it. I also noticed that phone numbers from a different area code were showing up about once a month on the cell phone call log. It was him, the ex. Well, recently my wife said she was going to visit a friend in a city about 3 hours away. Then she was going to meet up with her relatives 2 hours away from that city the next day. She made a semi-legit story about the first place she stayed. I know she was at her relatives the next day cause I spoke with them. Well, today she came clean cause I saw 3 phone calls to her phone from the ex the day she went out of town, and I asked her if she had seen and she said yes. Then I asked if she slept with him and she admitted that she went to his apartment and spent the night. I asked if she had seen him before and she said only once a few months ago and slept with him. I asked if she loved him and she said they were just friends. She told me she wanted a divorce 2 weeks ago. I changed immediately 2 weeks ago and quit drinking. So now I am numb with her infidelity and I don't know what to do or how to handle this. I told her I am willing to forget and that I can get past this and I love her. I'm hurting. I had a long talk with her and told her that I loved her and would do anything for her. She went on a rant saying that I haven't listened to her in the past 24 years and I never took her seriously. I told her in my mind everything was fine. She'd get mad about something and then we had slept together and, in my mind, everything was fine. But in hers, we never talked about it. She said she didn't think she has it in her heart to take me back. So then I reiterated that I love her and I've made changes but I can't force her to accept me. So, then I said we need to do what we need to do and that's get attorneys and sell our assets, including our almost paid for home. But whatever, not sure how important it is, but I make 10 times her salary. And that we prob need to get on it ASAP. I saw her face change once I said this. Also told her I hope she's happy with her future. Boy, she changed up her tone. My comment: if you show one speck of weakness and don't go nuclear on your cheating wife, she will literally laugh in your face and tell you how disgusting you are. She won't even acknowledge the fact that she cheated, which is exactly what she just showed you. I'm sorry I slept with the guy. Nope, she is the aggressor. You better wise up. Fight. Don't beg and cower. You be the aggressor. OP responds: I did stand my ground and said we should start the selling of our assets, including the house. I don't want to rebuy my house back from her. Just steal it and take half. And my heart selling and divorce is not at all what I want to do, but I'm trying to stand my ground and show her some reality. I told her that we need to consider getting our home into a proper lived-in condition if we are going to sell it. She said I could have it, that she didn't want it. Damn if I could have recorded that. Anyways, I never have cared for having money, but I have been blessed in that sense. I care more about our relationship. I told her that I love her and willing to work hard at marriage if we are going to reconcile, and she said she wasn't sure if she could do it and that I want immediate response from her, in her words jumping for joy cause now I'm that perfect man. I said the reality is either we set to reconcile or divorce, there are no other options. She then went off saying that I want an immediate answer, and I said that I knew that it would take time. But in my mind every day, every hour that goes by I become bitter and less emotional about this ordeal. I am leaning towards the divorce. I don't think I can forgive her for cheating. My heart says to love her, but my mind says I can't trust her. I did state the fact that she broke our wedding vows and was unfaithful to me. I told her she crossed the line. She said I didn't stick to our vows because I wasn't emotionally there for her. She said her and the other guy were friends. I told her friends don't engage in dirty activity unless they are FWB. I'm disgusted with her actions and rationale. I told her if we reconciled that she would have to sever all ties with the friend, cause now I know they are more than friends. It sucks being me right now. I'm an emotional wreck, and my feelings are so mixed up. I'm not sure I can forgive her for her affair. I'm barely 2 days in the reality of infidelity, and my mind is overwhelmed. I am not telling her I love her, am not in contact with her, and not sleeping with her. Early next week I am going to visit an attorney. It's terribly hard to stay strong. I'm at work and suddenly my eyes get teary. Very hard indeed. I too was also thinking that she didn't hesitate to tell me about the affair when I asked. I realized the event is the alcohol. It has corrupted my mind and marriage. I am hating the fact that I love to drink alcohol. I am having a really hard emotional time right now. How do you cope with it? I'm home alone. I went to bed around 10 with no emotional issues. Then I woke up around 2:30. I'm in misery, crying and crying. I'm home alone cause wife and my adult kids are visiting their grandma. I just keep asking myself why? I've admitted that alcohol robbed me of the person that I am and robbed my family. I'm angry towards alcohol and realize how powerful of an addiction it can have on someone. I always thought I was in control of my life. My alcohol abuse was the cause of the problem for divorce. Never have I said it caused the affair. I totally blame her for crossing that line. I feel like calling the other guy and asking what the deal is with my wife. He's divorced, so he has no one to lose. But then if I call him, I'll give him satisfaction, and he already got some of that from my wife. I'm just angry and sad. I know it's not his fault. My wife made that decision. I blame myself and get into a whirlwind addiction. I clearly see that. I stopped over 3 weeks ago. I know that's not very long, but for me it is. Comment. For the WW's affair, it's on her. She chose to keep you around to be the provider and security blanket. She chose the OM for the physical escapades and fantasy that doesn't involve you. This drinking bit was just a trigger point to the problem. But the cheating was all her. Good news is, you can get better. You can get a great therapy group and get out of the alcohol cycle. With friends that have been there and did that. Guess what? Bandit is one of them. Your WW. Serve her and get her gone. She mentally already left, and she left the vows on your kitchen table. Work on you. Start the 180 and get into AA counseling. Hit the gym and start eating better. You will see tremendous change and will want to continue. But if you go it alone and think about just changing a few habits around to fit your need, you will fail. You do not have the coping mechanisms present to deal with probably the most devastating event in your life. Choice is yours. Live well and find love. OP responds. It's been a rough week, but as the days and weeks go on, my coping skills are much better and stronger. We have decided to reconcile and take baby steps back into the relationship. We have been going to counseling and I have been going to AA. We talk much more than we ever have and have a deeper understanding of each other and the reasoning behind our decision making. I know most of the people told me to move on and file. I am going to an attorney this week to make myself aware of the options and obligations to my adult children. I don't plan on filing just yet. I am hoping that we can work things out. I am aware that it might be much easier to sever ties with her, but the truth is I would be happier with her than without. So, we are trying and we'll see where it goes. I am trusting in God that He will guide us and do what is best. I completely understand that my alcoholism did not cause her to cheat. It did cause an irritable marriage which could lead to divorce, but I am not taking the responsibility of the affair. She takes complete responsibility and owns up to the affair. I admit I am responsible for the divorce, but the affair was completely her choice and her doing. She's tired of hearing me say that I am going to change and going to stop drinking. I have made major changes in my lifestyle and took myself willingly to AA. We have had several episodes of passionate bonding since the discovery, most recently last night. She says she's afraid to let me have her heart again, because I would always break my promise of changing. This time is very different from before. I was brought down to my knees and I want to change. I love my wife. We have been going out and having fun, almost as friends again, and we are both enjoying each other's company. As for the alcohol, I don't care to have another sip. I can't control my intake and it has caused me a multitude of problems over the years. She's not blaming the affair on me. She says it was her way out of the marriage, the last step that she felt she needed to do to walk away. Prior to her affair, she had been telling me that she wants a divorce. She told me flat out that she wanted to separate over a year ago. And when I asked about an affair, she pretty much told me openly, almost like she wanted to get caught. She told me she had been out the door and done with the marriage. I totally changed after the news of her seriously wanting the divorce, then sure dropped the affair news on me. She is now upset because she's backsliding and saying that now I'm the perfect man she's wanted years ago. I told her I'd give her the divorce if that's what she really wanted. She gets mad and tells me she's been dealing alone with my alcoholism for years and how easy it is for me just to walk away and divorce. She's slowly coming around, but I am quickly moving her further away from me as the days go by. My anger is starting to show its evil face. She told me flat out that she had the affair thinking that I would be irate and divorce her, freeing her from the marriage. Yes, I know she could have gone and filed on her own, but sure found it easier to piss me off in hopes of me walking out on the marriage. I quit the drinking, which really surprised her, because I never have before, and she always said my first love was the alcohol, not her. Now she says I'm the perfect husband and the dynamics of the marriage have changed. She's no longer talking to the guy. I blew up his world. I found that he was seeing a steady girlfriend and I advised her of the situation. No, I didn't get a no-contact letter or have her call him in front of me. She claims there were no emotions, which I don't believe, but she needs to get her crap together and feel remorseful if this is going to work. We are trying to move forward, but she has so much anger inside her from over 10 years ago and she is having difficulty with that. No doubt she is not in love with me. She has told me that she stopped loving me as a husband several months ago, thus her way to end the marriage where I would walk away because of the unfaithfulness. But sadly, I didn't. I never saw it coming. So now she does not want a divorce. I made her second guess it because I changed myself for me. I don't drink, I go to church, and I am more attentive to the family. I have a 3-decade history with her and I feel like I have so much more to gain, rather than cut my losses. We have so much invested, but at the same time, I can't make her fall in love with me again. It really sucks to be in my place. She has been old friends with this guy for 25 years and once again said the affair was to break away from the marriage and move forward in hopes of me divorcing her. As each day passes, I feel like I am pushing her away further because now I am getting angry about the betrayal of the affair. Over time, I am thinking there will be no solution to our, especially if there is no remorse. She knows what it was like to be treated like garbage for over 20 years. She kept loving me, then finally gave up. I do understand she's been treated like crap for years by me. I quit telling her that I love her. I'm just going day by day. She was hoping I'd get angry and leave her. She didn't have the balls to leave me, but yet had another man's balls inside her. Go figure. I love the woman and I know I gave her rein for D, but not a hall passes to crap someone else. It's hard for me not to try to reconcile. She's now apologized for her actions and willing to R. We actually had 2 vacations planned prior to D-Day. We figured we'd go and make the best out of it. It was better than expected. We talked quite a bit. On a different note, as the weeks have gone by, I'm trying to bring myself to really be angry and dislike her. I want to be strong enough to walk away. It's just very hard because I can forgive her if she is sorry, but it hurts my heart just playing the wait game. I'm trying to think of her screwing the arm every which way, and it makes me mad, but I just find it hard to walk away. I know I'm weak, but that's why I'm asking for help. It's just really hard to move on. Very hard. I have poor coping skills. She had the affair because according to her that was the only thing she could control in her life. She said that I was very controlling of finances, decisions, etc. The affair was the effort to make me find out and angrily leave her. I'm trying to be angry about the situation so I can have less pain and walk away. It sucks to be me right now. I am an AA and have been dry for several weeks. I don't miss being a drunk. I know exactly what happened the night before. I know what I said, where my keys and phone are. Plus, I feel very good. She basically describes her affair as an exit affair. From what I read, it is pretty much that. Now she thinks she wants back in because she has seen changes in me that I have never made before. She is sorry that she hurt my feelings but continues to stand by her decision to act on the affair because she says that at that time that was her way out. She's a hard one and I need her to feel completely broken like I was in order for me to feel good about being with her. That is why I'm trying to push myself away from her, but it's extremely difficult. It's been a few weeks since I've posted on here. She is sorry that she hurt me but continues to try to make me believe that she had the affair as a way out of the marriage. I really don't believe this, but she is sticking to her answer. We have been going to counseling weekly and even attended a weekend program. We are able to get stuff out from the past, but she just won't own up on the affair. Yes, she said it was her decision to do it and she's not blaming me, but if only she owned up and broke down, it would make everything easier. I am still broken and for the last week I have been very angry about how I got betrayed. We are civil, still living in the same house, in the same bed and having daily talks about this. I don't know how much long I can put up. I am really getting exhausted and worn down with all this. Oh, and I have not had a sip in 9 weeks. But despite my flaws, I couldn't accept that my actions had driven her into the arms of another man. As the anger took hold, I became more and more distant from my wife. The thought of being intimate with her repulsed me, and I found myself unable to even look her in the eye. I knew that if we were to have any chance of salvaging our marriage, we would need to confront the issue head-on, and that meant having a front-on confrontation. One evening, after a particularly tense dinner, I finally decided to confront my wife about her affair. I couldn't hold back my anger any longer, and I let it all out, accusing her of being a liar and a cheat. I demanded to know why she had done it, and if she still had feelings for her ex. My wife didn't shy away from the confrontation. She admitted that she had felt neglected and unloved for years, and that her ex had been there for her when I wasn't. She said that she had never intended to fall back into a relationship with him, but that she had needed someone to talk to and confide in. As the argument escalated, I couldn't take it anymore. I told her that I couldn't trust her anymore and that I wanted her out of the house. I kicked her out, watching as she tearfully gathered her things and left our home of 24 years. Final update. The divorce process was long and emotionally draining. As the proceedings went on, I found myself reliving every moment of our marriage, from our happiest days to the bitter arguments that had torn us apart. I was forced to confront my own failings as a husband and the role my alcoholism had played in our relationship's demise. During the divorce, we had to divide our assets, including our house. The thought of selling our almost paid-for home was painful, but I knew that it was the only way to ensure a clean break from the past. The process was difficult and time-consuming, but eventually, we reached an agreement that was fair to both of us. Throughout the divorce, I also had to deal with the financial implications of our separation. I made significantly more money than my wife, and I knew that I would be responsible for providing her with financial support. This added another layer of complexity to an already challenging situation. My comment: if she won't take ownership of what she has done and has no remorse, your R would have never worked. She is not appreciating the gift she is being given. Don't let yourself stay roped in this situation for very long. Story 2. The big one. So where do I start? I want you to know that I'm not looking for sympathy, wouldn't expect much, but I am desperate to find a way to deal with the situation I have caused. I've been reading on this forum for the past 2+ months, but I'm not sure I know how to go on at this point, and I turn to you with my tail between my legs for help. I had an affair about 4 months ago. This is a decision I made that has haunted me ever since. I'll admit that this is the worst decision I've ever made, and now I'm paying dearly for it. It's absolutely just not fair for my wife to have to deal with this. D-Day was 2 months ago. My wife was questioning some text messages in my phone, so I made up my mind to tell her the painful truth, that I had cheated on her with another woman. I'll admit at first, she reacted hurt, but probably in shock for the most part. She moved out immediately to stay with her family. She still talked to me for the first couple weeks after D-Day, but quickly cut all communication. I was able to get her on the phone one last time to try and tell her my feelings about how awful I felt and how I recognized that there were things that I needed to change and to work on. One of those things is selfishness. I convinced her to go to a counselor with me. We went together once, and on the second appointment she canceled and went out of town. I saw this counselor on my own a few additional times, and from what I gather my wife saw him as well by herself. So here we are 2 months later. I have tried to the best of my ability to own my infidelity without placing blame on my wife. This was my choice, and I am the one who screwed up our marriage. Seeing the pain that I've caused her has put me in a really bad place, causing me a tremendous amount of pain, low self-worth, depression, and just overall creating my own hell. I have sent my wife letters, left voice messages, and tried to text positive things. I never get a single response. She has only sent me a few text messages since cutting communication, one of which she recently told me that she got a lawyer and is filing for divorce. The painful truth is starting to settle in now, that my wife is most likely not going to try and reconcile our marriage with me. I don't know how to react to this. I don't know how to let her go. I've tried to fight for her, but it's very difficult when she won't talk to me at all. So, what I'm asking for is help dealing with this horrible experience that I am going through, and I know my wife is going through hell as well, which, as I said before, is one of the biggest sources of my pain. The hardest part has been putting myself in my wife's shoes. What would it be like, and how would I feel if she cheated on me? I almost can't believe that I am the one who did this to the person I love. I know this totally crushed my wife. It has caused her to completely shut off. I really want to learn from this. As much as I want to stay with my wife, I can't force her. But I don't want to walk around with unnecessary pain if I can learn and grow from this. I realize it's not going to be easy, but right now I can't see any light at the end of the tunnel. There were times before she told me that she was filing for divorce where I backed off for days, maybe even a week at a time. I did try to give her space and not bombard her with messages. But I will admit that when she texted me last week to say that she filed for divorce, I started more or less begging her to reconsider counseling together. I haven't contacted her today, and I am truly considering texting something along the lines of what you've said. I guess I'm just confused. It's difficult to move on. I can ask her all I want, but she won't answer anything. Nothing. I have definitely thought about going to her work, she does hair at a salon, or to her family's house, but something inside of me tells me that the outcome would be terrible. She has a large family, including and 3 sisters and a mom who shelter, protect her. It's been like that her entire life from what I can tell. And now that I've made this terrible mistake, she doesn't know how to cope except listen to everything they say. She also works with 2 of those sisters. I have made some very small attempts to call family members without any luck. Although I have not gotten very aggressive at all. I'm up against a brick wall here because although her family is big and they are very close, which is a good thing, I've never really felt a part of their family. I can't say that they hated me before, but there was definitely a lack of commitment from them to our marriage. It's hard to describe, but it's like they wouldn't let me into their group. I sat on the sidelines, and any time I brought my concerns up I felt my wife wasn't exactly sure what I was telling her. Like maybe she didn't see it. I tell myself every single day that blame shifting is not appropriate no matter what. When those bitter feelings come because she is ignoring me, I need to remind myself that this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for my mistake. I hope I have the strength to let her go and come out of this standing. If it so be that she finishes the divorce. I'm ever so slowly learning to accept the fact that my selfish acts put me in this position. Selfishness, this is a word I've pondered on every single day since D-Day. I am bound and determined to change my selfish ways. I just don't have the complete vision yet. But I'll get there. I felt a little better yesterday, and I didn't wake up with as much anxiety today. I'm trying to focus on my wife and what will make her happy. I mean, I wouldn't want her to stay in the marriage if ultimately it made her unhappy. That would once again be my selfishness coming out. I'm not saying it's easy by any means, but I'm trying. Well, I received the divorce papers from her lawyer. The harsh truth is really settling in. I can only hope that she will try to be civil. I hope that if I stay calm then maybe she will as well. But at this point, who knows? I've felt better the past few days. I'm not nearly as upset, depressed, or anxious as I have been. It's good because I haven't felt good in months. I hope it's not just a temporary high. Although I realize there are still tough times to come with divorce stuff. Finances stress me out like no other at this point. The attorney, I am meeting with one this Thursday. Not happy about it, but it's what I've got to do. I would be fine speaking with my wife even with her decision to leave. I'd love to wish her well and apologize one last time, face to face, but she won't give me the opportunity. Even her family has refused to let me contact them. I wanted to apologize to her parents and siblings, but they just won't let me. I've basically locked myself in my house for the past few months. I go to work, go to the gym, then go home. Not looking for pity here. Just read on. This is since my STBX separated from me. I've found that after graduating from college and during the course of being married, I've lost a lot of my friends. Recently I've been venturing out a little bit, trying to reclaim my life, trying to define my new identity. I've felt so good this past week and I don't remember the last time I wasn't emotional or depressed. I've hung out a few times this past week and I know that's why I've felt better. Last night I was invited to an outdoor concert in the city. I went after work and met up with a buddy and a bunch of his friends, males and females. So, I am meeting a lot of these people for the first time. We are having a great time until, wouldn't you know it, I run into my STBX's sister. I was very nice and said hello. I was just so shocked because it was so random to run into her like that. She gave me a look of disgust and walked away. Okay, fine, I can deal with that. I understand her family hates my guts and they have reason to, but the drama didn't end there. At one point during the main event, I am watching the band play with two other people. Others from the group had wandered off looking at merchandise in the tents. At this point my STBX's sister approaches me with her boyfriend. They push me from behind. Now I'm not huge, but I am fairly large and tall. I wasn't scared that her BF pushed me. It became immediately obvious that they were pissed drunk and looked high. Eyes dilated. I won't speculate any further. Now my STBX was not there, but her sister was yelling all kinds of profanities and screaming and then literally came at me trying to attack me. I somehow kept myself together as her BF dragged her away. Then he got right back in my face. I wanted to knock his front teeth out, but at that moment I noticed my STBX's sister getting in the face of two females in the group that I had just met that night. She was like, "Who the hell are you? What are you doing with him?" Meaning me. At that point I stepped between them. I've never seen so much anger come from someone directed right at me. I was so angry because those friends didn't deserve that. I felt so embarrassed and awful. This was almost 24 hours ago and my blood is still boiling. They left us alone after they realized that they had hundreds of people's attention in the crowd as to what the hell was going on. My friends and I left immediately after, and I could tell everyone's night was ruined. At this point I feel like I have started the process of letting her go. It's not easy because as the WS, I have an overwhelming feeling and sense to fix things, no matter how bad they were due to my bad decision. I too have that feeling of wanting unconditional love, but I am also coming to realize that cheating is a deal breaker for some. I can look in the mirror right now and honestly say to myself that at this point I just want my wife to sincerely forgive me and move on. Since she does not want to, I feel it would have been better to work this out through a counselor, even with getting a divorce, because I feel like she isn't learning from this bad experience that I have brought upon us. It seems more like she's hiding from her problems. I could go on and on about that, but I won't. I'll leave it here. It's something I've seen her family do ever since I've known them. Sweep it under the rug and pretend it's not there in hopes it will go away. Please know I am not trying to make my wife's pain seem any less than it is. I know she is devastated. Really, the only point I was trying to make was that I thought it would have been better to go to counseling together regardless of whether we were going to reconcile or not. I mean, I do worry about her emotional well-being. I have not said anything close to those words to her. I have been only sympathetic, apologetic, and given her space. I respect her decision whether or not I like it. I can't seem to find my self-esteem, and my STBXW has been a less than civil at times. I guess I don't deserve any better though. Divorce stuff is going between lawyers slowly. I know I was being quite selfish at the time. But why was I selfish? I keep going around and around in circles. I will admit that looking back I feel like my STBXW had withdrawn from me a bit. Not only emotionally, but physically as well. She would randomly stay at her parents' or sister's house because she worked really late and had to work early again. Her work is maybe 20 minutes away from our house, and her family lives just minutes from her work. She just had excuses like that. I told her it made me feel bad when she didn't come home to our bed, but it didn't seem to matter. I was never not attracted to my STBXW at any time. In fact, I couldn't ever get enough of her. I know that sounds so strange, but that's how I felt. I think she started to purposely work when I was home to avoid me. Maybe I wasn't making her feel loved at home, or maybe she felt neglected. I don't know. That hard part is she never opened up to me to tell me how she really felt. I also started going to this new counselor. I found out as part of my benefits through work that I could see a counselor for free for a certain number of times. Then I found out that one of the counselors in my area that participated under my benefits came to my work twice a week. So, it couldn't get any more convenient than that. This counselor has helped me with my self-esteem and feelings of guilt, shame. I just hate the roller coaster I'm going through, but I have to keep reminding myself that my actions are to blame. I need a balance, and that's what I am struggling to find right now. But I am very hard on myself and always have been. I've never messed up this badly and I need to make sure I learn everything I can from it. If not, it's all for nothing. Maybe that will be the key to forgiving myself. My comment: so, you have admitted what you have done, taken responsibility for it. You are suffering the consequences for it. Your STBXW is hurt and reacting. When are you going to stop beating yourself up over it? Nobody is perfect, and as much as you screwed up, there is another side to it. A side that cannot let herself heal and forgive. In a relationship, there is a balance of screw-ups learning forgiveness. On both sides, it sounds like you are taking some really healthy steps to learn and grow. Someday you will have to work on forgiving yourself.